Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay, and you are watching Shay with the Hobbies. Hi, y'all. Have I been MIA a little bit? Yes. It's March. Y'all know it's a rough month for me, so that's just all we're gonna say that. But it's not about me. It's about this lovely, amazing book entitled "Daughters of Jubilation" by Kara Lee Corcoran. I got it. I've been saying like Crofton. I don't know why, but I'm getting the letters right. So, for those of you guys who don't know, and you're just here because you subscribed to my channel, for the month of March, the lovely Vina, this is me pointing, supposed to be.
Hello.
Right. And I are reading The Daughters of Jubilation for the month of March. We have been attempting to read a chapter a day in the hopes of finishing this by the end of the month for our live discussion on the last Friday of the month. I, per usual, every Sunday, am a little bit behind, but I was reading before the live, so I am totally ready to get on track by the end of the live. Vina, would you like to introduce the people to you?
Hey,
Tell
I'm Vina,
things.
and I am also a little bit behind. I think I'm behind by like a chapter or two, so not too bad. Was really busy, so I didn't get to read yesterday at all. So I should be caught up like after the first round of sprints, and I'm excited just to like discuss more about this book with people.
Yeah, it's been like we've discussed like a little bit here and there between the sprints, but because everybody is like trying to stay on track and whatnot, so I'm super excited for the live discussion to really be able to talk about it. Because at that point, if you haven't finished the book, that's on you at that point, right? So here we're kind of like, we'll talk a little bit of here and a little bit here and but I'm loving it so far. I love the voices. I cannot stress enough how distinct and unique each person's voice is.
The jokes,
I love it. The jokes, the way they say stuff, the way that nothing is. Like when the little sister is like, Mom says you gotta make sure I wash my bum and my bird. If you don't know what it is, you don't know what it is. She don't say nothing.
That. She does
They
not
don't explain anything. And here's the thing for me is that we read in books so many times where, well, you got to explain this because they're not going to know what it is. First of all, y'all, the fact that a 40-year-old woman who happened to look like us didn't know what HBCU or PWI was made me feel away. Like, how have you never heard these terms?
Was she under a rock? Was she from
Why do I have to tell you what these words are? Why, I mean, you could look them up in the same way that you just asked me. Like, I just, yeah. And for the record, I'm not telling you what a HBCU or a PWI is in my book. If you don't know, you're going to look it up or you're just going to keep going and not know what they're talking about. I mean, and that's on you. However you choose to engage with my story is on you, not me, is the truth. Lee, hey fam, what's good? I hope you are having a fantastic Sunday. I wanted to say Saturday. My days are off, y'all. Don't get me to line, okay? Listen, hey, my beautiful ladies of the Daughters of Jubilation, Readalong. I hear you. I know what you mean. Deja, hello. I need to be cooking, so not going to be reading this time. And this is a drag on the publishers because what should we have? An audiobook. You should be able to still be able to follow along with us while you're cooking because this book deserves an audiobook.
Exactly. I don't know what we have to do to get an audiobook. But
right. I don't know if we need to reach out to the author and be like, hey, would it help if you had like a petition of readers that were like, hey, we would really love an audiobook to give to your publisher? Like, what can we do to drum up the conversation? Because we're there was a lid on that water bottle. There we go. Okay. All right.
I know. What can we do to get the audio?
Right. What can we do to get it out? So I want to say the live discussion is, I want to say, do we say like a Friday at like 7 Eastern?
Yes.
Central? Yeah.
On the 31st.
So it is the 31st, the very last day of the month. Yeah. I'm still blue they don't have it, right? Blew me completely. It was like, what? I'm gonna read. I really have to be productive today, but I also have to read this book. I tried during the week, but I can't read this book, and I'm right there with you. See, and that's why
Yeah,
we have earlier in the day, right?
that's what I'm
Because this
saying.
is the
Once
thing,
it gets
like,
into the
I'll read a
darker
little bit,
chapters, reading
right?
at night gets a little spooky.
Right. And I read a little bit during the week, but y'all, life has been lifing. So I make sure I'm reading when we're here. So it's like dedicated time. So I get it. I totally get it. Yeah. Whole hose for that. Whole hose. I don't not editing myself because they are whole hose for that. Is what I'm telling you. Okay, y'all. So we got a 30-minute timer up here. Right? It's amazing and it needs an audiobook,
It
right?
needed more promo too. Like it still
Way
upsets
more
me the lack of
promo. The way
promo
that
that
I
this
had
got.
I heard of this book like in passing because I won't say I hadn't heard people talk about it. I didn't know what it was about. I thought I knew that it was set in the past. I thought it was like an older book. I think I was getting Daughters of Jubilation and the what's the like alternative
Dread
Civil War.
Nation, Dread
Yeah,
Nation.
so I was getting those confused, and I think it was like I don't know if maybe they came around out around the same time or something like that. Like the
Um,
second
Dread
one came
Nation
out.
came out like earlier, but then like during 2020, Dread Nation was one of those books that people were like rushing to pick up.
Okay, because I was like, it was something that made them like me think that they were like similar or written by the same person or something. So I knew that it
Not at
was
all.
something I wanted to get to read, but that I hadn't put on my radar. And so again, shouts out to Vina for being like, "Yo, I really want to do this." And here's the thing: this might be the first book that Venus asked me to read with her that I actually finish when she is reading it and finishing it. Because here's the thing, y'all. I'm bad about buddy read. I be trying. I'll finish the book. So you gonna hear my thoughts. It just might be a month after you asked for my thoughts. It's the truth. So this is a level up for our booktube friendship because I will be finishing on time this time. I'm excited.
And
I
I didn't lead you astray.
Right? No, at all. Right? And that's the other part is I feel like Vena's also like, no, I need you to read this because I just need you to know that I get your taste in books. Like I'm not gonna give you something that you're not gonna like. So I feel it. Oh, dang it! Now I hit the space bar. I added this book to my TBR before it coming out, but kept forgetting about it because of lack of promotion. But honestly, I should have been on it. When Venus said read along, I said it's right. Super duper excited
And
about it.
that's the thing. Like I have a lot of friends who have a copy of the book, but they just like, haven't prioritized it on their TBR because they're not hearing enough people talk about it.
Talk
And
about it. No,
that's
for
a big
sure.
impact. That word of mouth will get people to pick up a book faster.
Right. I'm really working on the like trying to make sure I get like a little footage of me reading the book every time that I do so that I can put like a little reel and a short together for it because again like I'm right there with you like there are so many good books that aren't getting talked about because they're not the ones that traditional publishing is pushing and we understand why, right? Like y'all hear me and Deidre scream from the top of our lungs about long division, right? But
Yeah,
outside of us,
you
how many
two
people do you
and my
hear?
sister were the only ones who kept saying read
Right,
long
you
division, and she
right,
read it because of a class. They had to read it for a college
right,
class.
right. He's a professor too, so like that totally makes sense. So yeah, like it's just like I want to be more intentional about the books that I am promoting. I think I'm always promoting things that like aren't as talked about as much. Except for that first year. That first year, I was like reading everything because I was like, well, everybody's reading everything, and now I'm like, oh, I can't trust y'all. I'm not gonna read what y'all read. And so it's been a little bit different. But I want to do better about dedicating videos to that because I feel like that helps so much more, especially with how YouTube is pushing shorts now. So
Yeah, I'm
fingers
trying to get
crossed.
on that
I'm
and do my
trying.
little
I'm
videos.
trying. Here's the thing, y'all. I gotta care. Is the truth. And low key, sometimes I just don't be caring.
I have the shorts. I get them done for my picture books. I just need to get them done for like the bigger books.
Okay, so we should do a long division read along. Okay. I'm gonna talk to Deidre because if I do it and Deidre ain't a part of it, she gonna look at me like, wait a minute, why not? Why not? Nah. Let's talk about it. But it actually does go along with this other little thing that we're hoping to do this summer. So fingers crossed, Deja, it happens. Okay. Also, Deja, did I talk to you about the Black Writers Discord? Let me know. because I feel like I meant to mention it to you and I don't know if I did and let you in on it. But let me know. Okay. All right, y'all. In 3, 2, 1, we're gonna get into this first sprint. Y'all turn them pages. Oh, it's supposed to be music. There we Alright. How did everybody do? Let me know how you did in the comments. I had my lovely co-host too.
All right.
How'd you do?
So I ended up getting to the beginning of chapter 20. So now I'm like caught up.
Okay. I am on chapter 17. So I think this next, and I got through like 3 chapters that time because again behind. So I think by the next one I should be like where I need to be. Loving it. Can't wait to talk about it. Y'all let us know where y'all are so we know how much we can talk about. If we can talk about
Yeah.
something. We had a few people join us. We have Miss Maya. Hey Queens. Hey Miss Maya.
Hey,
Good to
Maya.
see you. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. The question was question one, it's week 3. How do you feel about Eveline? Or Eveline. I don't know how we're supposed to say it. So Maya says she reminds me of a cousin I grew up with in a good way. Yay, love that for you. Pat says, hello, happy Sunday, my queen, Shay and Vina. It's so good to see you, Pat. I hope you're having a fantastic.
Hey, Pat. Pat always shows up.
Always. She always gonna be here. This is y'all reminder for me to hydrate, as y'all see. I'm trying to do because I think that's why I haven't been feeling as well the past few days. I haven't been drinking enough water. So how do I feel about Eveline? You know what? Eveline, I don't dislike her. I like her character a lot. I think that she has mature ways about her, being the oldest, growing up in a time where Black girls have to mature a lot faster. But she's still very much a teenager making childlike decisions, teenager decisions, and you can see that in some of the things that she chooses to do. And so I like the balance of that. And it makes her not at all an annoying character for me. I like her interactions. I like the I like the ability to see the like I really want to be rebellious. I really want to say something smart. I really want to, but I know better. I know better. Because the thing is that I think and that I appreciate about growing up in Black households, on a general sense, right?
Mhm.
Is how respect is taught in general, right? Like I just like that there are just some things you just don't do in front of your elders. There's just certain conversations you don't have until you're at a certain age or you're at a certain space. And it's not about being ashamed, it's not about feeling like you can't, it's simply about respect of where they are in life versus where you are in life. And I think that people from the outside looking in, or people who um like to focus on the term respectability and not the aspect of respect, see these negatively and put such a negative connotation on them. But I think it speaks a lot to the type of, general speaking, families and communities we create, right? Like I personally, it bothers me when there's like an older person and someone doesn't open the door for them, white or black,
Yeah.
right? Like it bothers me when there's like younger people just like cussing up a storm around like older people or
Oh,
around like
absolutely
children,
not.
right? Like those things, just to me, they're not things that I think are okay, right? They're not things that I think, and it's not like I don't think cussing is bad. I don't think you have to open the door for everybody. There's just certain things, you know what I mean? I
Mhm.
feel like we're all, for the most part, black here. I don't know who's all watching, but for the most part, it's a bunch of black play people here. So I feel like we kind of, you guys might understand what I'm saying. But I just love it because, one, I feel like it shows that no, as young black girls, we still have attitudes. We still don't agree with everything. We still have our own feelings, but we also know like there's a time and place, right? And so I don't know. I love
Yeah.
how
She keeps some
thorough
stuff in her head versus
right.
saying it out
Oh,
loud.
cause
Like,
yeah, nah. I smoothly cussed my grandma out a few times for punishments in my head. In my head, right? Not out loud.
but some of
Yeah.
these books be having them say the stuff out loud that
And I
you
just be
do
like,
talk to
and you
your
ain't
elders
getting
that way.
caught. Because in the story, your mother will still be an older black woman. So like she just let you get away with. I mean, okay. Could it be me? Could not be me. I wouldn't like I remember
And
the
that's
first
like a
time.
thing a lot of us realize too. And I think like because I remember reading a review where somebody like who was not black got mad because in a story this girl was smarting off with her auntie and her auntie smacked her. And he's like, she couldn't believe that happened and how it was seen like as a good thing. I'm like, but you don't understand like the culture.
Right, the culture at all, like at all. And it's even like I remember like the first time I like cussed in front of my grandmother, and I was like an adult when I did it, and it still was like I don't think I'm an adult enough to do this. Now, by
Yeah.
the time I hit 25, we was having full blown conversations about anything and everything in any and every kind of way, right? And still, even in that, I was 20. I had just saw I was turning 23 like 3 days later before I ever saw my grandmother drink in front of
Mm-hmm.
me. Never saw her drink ever. I was an adult before I ever heard her say the B word. Like there's just certain things that like there's just levels to things that I appreciate that being shown in here. Like I appreciate that like yeah, you and your mother are partners on some things, but she's still very much your mother.
And
She's still
like
very
it even discusses the relationship she has with her mom and compared to the relationship she has with her grandma. Like there was a part that I read in the last sprint where she was like, funny, your impulse with me is to deny everything. And with your grandmother, you didn't bother denying a thing. I was there, remember?
yeah, and it's interesting because like I think that is an interesting conversation of the dynamics of parents and grandparents with children. Almost always, parents' number one complaint about grandparents is you would never let me get away with this. You let them say and do and but the
Yeah.
relationship with grandchildren and grandparents is often more open because you feel like your grandparents, you can't never do no wrong. That was not my grandmother. Nah, like I can definitely do some wrong. But on the other hand, I still always knew like she was in my corner, right? Like I knew that
Yeah.
like she was gonna correct me if I was wrong, but whether I was wrong or right, she was gonna be right there, right?
That's the
So
nice thing about her relationship with her grandma. Her grandma's not letting her get away with everything. But
no,
she like has moments in the book where she's like starting to understand her grandmother a little bit and understand her family dynamics and start thinking like, oh well, I didn't want to hang out with her today, but I'm glad I did because I learned this about my family that we don't usually talk about.
Right. Because again, we talked about this last time. You have a different relationship with your grandparents than your parents have. They knew a whole completely different human. Yes, it's the same person, but the person that raised them, that 20 to 40-year-old, is different from the 40 to 60-year-old that you get to know. All right. And so, just in that part of the conversation, I'm loving. Especially knowing like my relationship with my grandmother and my mother, and just knowing that like the woman that raised my mom, I ain't never met her. I don't know what that woman is like. And ooh, she sounded like she was a lot, y'all. So I'm loving
That's how
all
my
the
cousin is with her grandma. Like the woman who raised her mom and who raised her is not the woman who's helping her raise her son.
right, not at all. Completely different people. But I am really loving this. Y'all. I might tear up by the time we end this. Not because I don't know if the book will be sad and make me tear up, but just at how beautiful it is. Because that's how Long Division was for me. Like Long Division was just like, it's so black. Oh, thank you, God. I just loved it. Yes, hi J, y'all. Miss Maya says there are so many layers to her. I think she's very much a child, but she's a black girl child in Jim Crow South, and that doesn't have the same grace as other kids. And Kara does so well with that. I completely agree. I completely agree. Like I feel like again, and me and Vina have talked about this privately before, but like yes, the Jim Crow South, all of these things are horrible, horrible times. But black children were still children, and they were still finding joyous moments, and they were still doing childish things and getting to experience a a stunted version of childhood, we will admit, because it is America, right? But a childhood nonetheless. And I'm loving that you get that, right? I'm loving that, they run off to the hidden children's library. And y'all, I meant to say this when we read that when I read that the other week, but the line where he says they'd rather everything just rot and sit in space than let colored children read. There is an Instagram page that I follow, and it's about gentrification, but it's about like all the old black communities from like the early 1920s to like 1980s that like that governments in states would be like, oh, we're gonna put a highway here and move all the black people out and not put nothing there. Like it's barren and vacant. Like it was supposed to be a highway, or it's supposed to be a mall, or it's supposed to be a shopping center, and nothing happened. And it's just like you would rather they be nothing here than to let black people have community. And so that line, like knowing that that page exists, and y'all, I'll have to link it and put it in the description box so y'all
Yeah,
can go
well, they're
look
trying
at
to
it.
still do that today in the low
Right, they're
country.
still trying to do that, but it's like like we talk about gentrification now, right? But to think about like, no, this has been a thing that has been going on for a century that we're just now seeing in this light, right? Because again, what they're doing now is they're going in and buying up and changing it and making it nicer. Like, no, what this is they're just buying up stuff and leaving it, and nothing's being done with it. To me, that's worse. Like you moved in
Yeah.
eminent domain, got people out of homes that they struggled to get for to put in a parking lot.
Yeah, and I think like I don't think I've read like a book that talked about gentrification like that touches on that aspect.
Exactly, right? Like it's
Because
always
none of
like,
the
oh,
ones
they
that
jumping
like
in and buying up
everybody talks
everything.
about really like touched on that aspect. They touched on like, okay, this is Black history. Okay, they're moving like white people into the neighborhood, but they don't get those little pieces.
Right? No, where's my handy dandy notebook? Stories Cachet will eventually write about the old gentrification.
Because I mean, like, I feel like a lot of us have know like the people who are trying to buy your house, especially if you live in the city. They're the people sending we on a weekly basis. I can buy
Right.
your house for this much. I can buy your house for this much. And you see sometimes your neighborhood change, but things like that, I've
That
never.
wasn't people. They weren't offering to buy people's stuff. They
They
were
were just moving them.
making people move. They were forcing people to move. Like the freaking the Lake Lanier,
Yeah,
Lake Lanier. Like they moved those people out. They made them move. They didn't give them a choice to build a lake. To build a lake. It's insane. It's white supremacy is insidious. It's all. It's just,
yeah.
that's
And I live in like an area where a lot of people who were pushed out of New York had to move,
Mm.
and now they're trying to gentrify where we are.
I can't stand it, bruh. I had to put the book down for a minute when I read that line. That hits on, man. Man, okay. Alyssa says, those last few lines of chapter 15, you are a man. Letting Clay know that white folks want to control you and you playing the survival game doesn't make you less of a man, y'all. Okay, but we're gonna get into a sprint. I have not finished this series because when I tell you every episode had me weeping, but they're on I feel like it's Amazon Prime. There's a show called Them, and it's set in like Inglewood, Compton, but when it was like white. So like before, like when black people were like leaving the Jim Crow South to come to California to like try to get a better life and have more, right? Mm-hmm. And there is this scene in the show where like, so the husband was in the war and he has PTSD, and so like PTSD to the point that like the smell of a cherry pie like takes him back to a scene, right? And in the episode, this specific episode, you get a flashback that they had a son that they lost, and it is some kind of like, it seems like it's like a mental break, but it also looks like it's supernatural, right? And so they move out to California and start a new life, right? And so the wife has what the husband thinks is an episode, and he kind of like a police officer is called, and he kind of like, in trying to get this white cop out of his house and away from his wife, like, oh, she's just a little sick, she's just having a bad, like, she's just dead. And she's like, I'm not sick, I know what I saw, I know what's going on, somebody's messing with me. And the husband is just like, I need to get him out, right? And so for dinner that night, she makes this cherry pie, and he sits at that table and he says not a word, and he just eats the pie, and he's crying, and she's across him looking at the table and like watching him. And once he starts crying, she realizes like what she did in that moment in her anger, and they're both crying. When I tell y'all, this scene is the most powerful scene with no words. They don't say a word, they just look at each other, and you see him having to, I have to swallow this fear, I have to swallow this PTSD, I have to swallow this because that's what this life is. And you see like, yeah, we might not agree about this, but this is the only partner I got, and I can't put him in this position. And it's, y'all, so like that, like knowing you gotta survive out here, but you gotta have people there to help you and remind you that you're no less for doing what you gotta do to survive out here. Like, y'all, I want to finish that series, but when we talk about black horror being the past, bruh, like, y'all wrecked me. Beautiful scene, cinematography, everything about it amazing. Wrecked the mess out of me. Maya said, ooh, I got a rec that might help you with the old gentrification idea. The Sum of Us by Heather McGee. Okay, pick the notebook back up. My handy dandy notebook. Okay, The Sum. And don't act like y'all didn't watch Blue's Clues with Steve. Come on now. I don't know about the mama, we don't talk about them, but Steve, that's the OG. Here's the mail, it makes me well, it makes me well. Okay, y'all, I babysat a lot of kids, don't judge me, okay? Okay, all right, y'all, we got 30 minutes on the clock, and 3, 2, 1, y'all turn them pages. All right. How did everybody do? Let me know how you did in the comments. I had my lovely co-host do.
Okay, so I am in the middle of chapter 22.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna like finish chapter 22 today and then stop there since I'm like caught up where I need to be.
Nice. That's awesome.
How did
That's
you do?
So I'm not gonna hold you. My stomach is feeling queasy, so I made some tea and I was about to go grab, and I was like, oh well, let me get back from this. Um, and I took my herbal medicine. I did. I did read some more. I think I got through half a chapter. Um, and I did some editing on some of the stuff I was like working on, recording for the trying to make these shorts happen, y'all. So if you wouldn't mind reading Maya's comment real quick while I go grab
Yeah,
my tea, I appreciate it.
that's fine. The contrast between the dictionary definition of jubilation and the damage that we see jubilation does is so interesting to me. This is definitely a book I'll have to reread and annotate. Yeah, I find like since I'm rereading that I'm noticing more things that I didn't notice. So I'm like paying more attention to the magic system and I'm paying more attention to the things that the author was foreshadowing that I kind of missed in my first read. And I'm like, it is actually like a pretty well thought out magic system. It's not mapped out the way we usually expect big fantasy magic systems to be mapped out, but there's like little rules and stuff that I'm noticing that I didn't notice before. And I agree with Pat. Like it's very enlightening. Like that second read, as you just notice so much more compared to with the first time. And I'm like, I'm trying to like highlight little things and make little notes here and there. Okay. Yeah, there's I'm really loving this story. And like even some of like the little jokes that I missed around, like where I am right now, some scary stuff has been happening, but I like how the book has really balanced like the scary stuff with the lighter stuff, and then like the way her grandma is explaining the stuff. She's not like outright telling her how the magic works. She's challenging her to figure it out. And even though it's getting her frustrated, like she's realizing she's learning more than she thought she would.
Yeah, I definitely am with Maya on the rereading for sure. Because I'm reading to like keep up with the read along, but I definitely am gonna want to go in and highlight things. Um, and Pat saying it's enlightening. Is a book that a lot of us don't know about. Um, yeah, we're definitely putting it out there for sure. Yes, the treatment of blackity black black, which we love for sure.
Yes.
Alicia said, got to chapter 17. My uncle and sister started my reading. Tell them to stop. We try to get to the book. I'm Go away, Maya. Alicia said, so even though Jubilation, the magic system, can't damage it, its intent was to preserve happiness. It was meant to protect. Right, right. So that thing, right? There's so much that I think about stuff. So Vina had said when I was making my tea, she said, it's not how we conventionally like think of magic systems. And it's like because majority of the magic systems are written by people that don't look like us. So if we look at magic systems of people that look like us, this is becoming a more common thing. First of all, I just want to say the names of our magic systems, I be liking them. I really do.
I also like that she didn't just like name it like root, because even though yes they
Right.
are like pulling aspects of root, it's very different.
Right, right. And that's the thing is like you can pull aspects from things and say that you're inspired by. You don't have to pull from these very real things that have very rich and important history that can't be overlooked if you're not gonna put in the work for that specifically, for sure. Um, again, y'all, I can't say enough about how much I'm just enjoying this read. I've been like posting it in all the discords that have like book chats in there, like, hey, I'm reading this book. I think, if you like blackity black books, I haven't finished it, but I'm reading
Oh
it right now and
yeah,
I'm really enjoying
I've been
myself.
telling people too. I was in a Discord, and they were like, "Well, I think you should read this." I'm like, well, if you like that book, pick up Daughters of Jubilation.
Mhm. I'm definitely, and I'm always like, I read blackity black 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 books, period. So like, whatever I'm gonna recommend is gonna be that, right? Like, the only person I've recommended that isn't is Frank Peretti, and I've been very specific about you. You have to be a specific type of reader to enjoy the book. If you're not, then hey, like, go on about your business. I'm not gonna hold you. But other than that, it's blackity black 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 because again, like, it's us over everybody for me. This is the truth. Like, I'm riding with my people. Pat said this book was shortchanged in publishing, which is a shame. A book I'll reread time and again. I agree with that. I picked up on that. I feel like they also showed all the different ways that happiness was preserved and how that changed and stayed the same over the years. Oh, right, because like, I mean, I think the rainbow scene is a perfect example of that. Is a perfect example. In that moment, she felt so much safety, security, and love that it created this impossible, beautiful thing in this place where it shouldn't be. Oh, catch that, somebody. There's something about blackness that creates this impossible beauty where it should not be. All I'm saying is we lit is all I'm saying. Okay. Okay.
No, I
Um
love all the family
you're
interactions too. Like
for
not even just
sure.
with her family, but like when she went with Clay to go to his auntie's 800th or something birthday,
Mhm.
and like just the interactions with her too was interesting since it was the opportunity to meet somebody else who also had this gift, who wasn't from her family. And I thought it was interesting how they said like that they could recognize it in other people.
Oh no, and I've already been like waiting to get to more into that from the moment where the mom was like, "Nah, I mean, we're not the only ones," and she's like, "Wait, you never did it?" Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yes. But yeah, ain't that the story of our lives? For sure. That's why it's like I love when black writers write stories, because they put these little like Easter eggs for other black people to be like, she's saying it in this book, but this is a parallel to us in real life. Like this is us right now. And I just like when you get through the entirety of the 5th season, when you get through the entirety of the Broken Earth trilogy, and you like, huh, Raga is 2 letters off from this other thing that and you just go into all the little, and you're like, this makes so much more sense, is all I'm saying. Okay, so we got time for one more. Are you up for one more?
Yep, I'm up for one more.
All right,
for one more. It'll give me the chance to finish this chapter.
Yay. Okay. Oh, hold on. What did I just do? I hate when, you know how you close a tab by accident and I'm trying to open up the tab that I closed or reopen the tab and I forget what the thing is. Oh well. It's control something, ain't it? Can't remember. Cannot remember. Yes, that was such a fascinating interaction, and as short as it was, I wanted to know more about Miss Corinthia by the end, for sure. I love good storytelling, y'all. That's really the truth.
Plus, that scene had some good jokes too. Like when she was taking long to do her speech, she's like, "It's been a while, but I guess when you're old, you can take about a month to sit to get your words out."
Oh, it's the smart aleckness for me, for sure.
Like some of the little smart things she'd be saying in her head, but again, it's in her head, not out here mouthed into her elders.
Right. Because that, you can say anything to anybody. Like, no, you can't. No, you can't.
And then
So I
even
don't know
in her
why.
head, there was a scene where her grandma was like, she meant to think it just in her head for her, and her grandma heard it. She said, "Don't be getting smart with me."
Right, man. I ain't gonna lie. That would be one thing that I would, if that was like a magical thing in my. Nah, I don't even get to have an attitude in my head. That's not fair. Get out my brain. Nah, it's not. Nah, we gotta have boundaries. That's crossing the line right there. I at least get to think you get on my nerves. Like that's. Imagine getting in trouble for your thoughts. Childish. Okay. Y'all, in 3, 2, 1, y'all turn in pages, literally, because there's no audio book because they suck. Okay, but the author is amazing. Okay, read on, y'all. My bad, y'all. All right. How did everybody do? Let me know how you did in the comments. How did my lovely co-host do?
Okay, so I am stopping at chapter 24. So I didn't do too bad for today. I read up to kind of where I want to be because I know during the week I'll be like reading other stuff in the meantime.
Yeah, good, good, good. I read some more and then I started actually doing some dishes so that I could fix me some dinner because that's gonna be that. And I know there's a self-care Sunday stream this year. I'm probably gonna just move to Twitch and do that later tonight. Probably like way later because feeling a little wonky and I'm gonna go take a nap. So
Naps are
fingers
good.
crossed I wake up and we still have a self-care Sunday. If not, it'll be all right. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Um, oh, did I not change? Why did I think I changed it? I did change the question, but it didn't change. Like it, like for some reason, StreamYard has been doing this where it doesn't immediately change the question. And it so. The last question was, what about this story has you the most interested? What is like the thing that's got you like I'm reading because I want to know this thing. I'm reading because this has me hooked.
Oh, I already read it, so I'm gonna let some other people answer it first because I think because for me I'm just like seeing stuff I didn't see before because I already know like how it flows.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Self care all the way shit. Right, right, right. So what has me hooked is I want to know what's going on with Clay. Something about Clay, and there's something more to his story. I want to know, and then also I want to know this dude that be popping up and whatnot. I want to know more about him and why. Well, so I don't know if her magic didn't work with him or she just doesn't know how to work when she's afraid, and that being why it didn't work officially. So that being the thing is why I'm kind of like I don't know if it's just that, but I am curious about how he knows why he knows all these like that part. I'm curious about all of that. That's what has got me hooked. And lastly, just to make sure, just to see if it remains blackety black black all the way through. And so far, so good. So far, so good. We'll see what other people have to say
Well,
for
the
we.
creepy man isn't the love interest, so that's how you know it's blackety black.
Oh, that part. I ain't got no tea, but if I did, it would be hot. It will be hot in a second because it's over there being made. Nick. Early pages swinging in to hit the like and say, hey, I hope everyone is having a beautiful Sunday. Hope you are too as well. We're actually
Thank
about to get
you.
out of here. Thank you so much for being here. Um, all right, y'all. I want to thank y'all so much for coming into week three's reading sprints of Daughters of Jubilation. Next
Yeah.
week, last week will be on Venus channel, and we'll let you know by that day which channel the live discussion will be on. I will more than likely not be there. Anniversary of grandmother's death next weekend, and a lot of like family stuff going on. So I will more than likely not be on screen, but I'll probably pop in the chat and say hi, which means that I'm definitely gonna be reading during the week, so that I'm not behind. So
Yeah, we're
uh,
getting down to it. And the
we
nice thing
are.
about this is the chapters are short, so it's a very quick read.
So it's not next week, but the week after. So it's the 31st. So it's 2 weeks from Friday, from this past Friday.
It's next week at the end of the week.
Right. Oh, I'm thinking next week like this week. This is the starting of the next week. Got it. Yeah. So yeah, it is 12 days away. You're so welcome. No problem. No problem.
Thank
Yeah,
you
I
for
was trying to make sure you didn't
bye.
think it was like the Friday that was coming up. But yeah, it's the last Friday of the month, the last day of the month, actually. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Whether you're here now on the replay, make sure that you are reading Daughters of Jubilation by Cara Lee Corcoran. See, I look every time to make sure I'm saying it right. Appreciate y'all. No, you're so welcome, so welcome. And again, I will see y'all hopefully on Twitch later tonight. I'll move the stream so y'all won't think it's happening. All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.